Millions of people just viewed the Philadelphia Eagles dominating the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22 in Super Bowl 59. But there was another thing that took place that sparked even more of a controversy. That was the halftime performance of rapper Kendrick Lamar. And we're here to talk about it right here on the Blac-Vocracy podcast. So buckle up, hold on tight, let's go. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Blac-Vocracy podcast. I'm your host, Jabril A. Rashad. This is pre-recorded, so I cannot be responding to your messages over in the chat. But I definitely wanted to come on and speak about what just took place on Sunday between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. But more importantly, the halftime show of Kendrick Lamar. Yes, I've heard all of the controversy, the allegorical, the symbolisms, the metaphors. And that is what particularly caught my attention because I've been on this journey and got my spark in 1986 and embracing Islam in 1982 and became a student of Imam Water Muhammad. So when you're speaking about allegoricals and metaphors and Scientology and everything else is out there, there are students who take a deeper dive and a deeper look into what's actually being presented in society. So I want to talk about that and discuss that because you got people on the left, you got people on the right, you even have people in the middle. Some said it was the worst performance they've ever seen. Others said that it was a great performance. And there was many who said it went over a lot of people's heads. So I want to discuss all three factors because truthfully speaking, again, I think it was a good performance. But I was a little hesitant to say that it was a great performance. And I'll give you my reasons why. But before we get into that, I want you all to hit the subscribe, like, share, notification button for me as we continue to grow this particular channel. So let's take a quick look, a brief replay of what took place during the halftime of this one-sided Super Bowl, if you will, by rapper Kendrick Lamar. And we'll make a commentary on it. And hopefully we'll find some middle ground. I hear you like I'm young. You bet I ever gonna sell Black One. They talk to him and they in love. Just make sure you hide your little sister from him.
Kendrick Lamar scoring another win with his Drake beef in his Super Bowl halftime show.
I'm on tough. I'ma do my stuff. Right control like a ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
You have to believe in yourself and have to know that it's only one you. You an amazing individual, unique. You a miracle. I wake up every day and I'm like, this is crazy.
The rapper dropping Not Like Us on music's biggest stage, despite Drake filing a lawsuit surrounding Kendrick's epic diss track.
They not like us. No, they not like us. Are you my friend? Are we locked in?
So there you saw some of the a brief clipping of Kendrick Lamar and the dancers dressed in the red, white, and the blue, as well as Serena Williams doing her crip walk. And I do think, again, the message in which he was trying to convey to the people, I'm not sleeping on that at all. My only conflict, and I've already went on record and I stated as such, is that I feel like the platform wasn't the correct platform. And what I simply mean by that, I think that the message would have been more universally accepted had he been doing a, let's say, an NAACP or maybe even a BET award show, because that's more geared towards our true platform in terms of the African-American community. So I said that he did a concert or gave a concert and not an actual show. I think there's a difference in my opinion, because when you're doing a Super Bowl, which is witnessed and viewed by over millions of people around the globe, everybody may not understand your situation. Everyone may not be sensitive to your situation. There may be a little bit withdrawal, as we saw and what's being reported by many, that the performance, they didn't grasp it. They didn't get it. And so herein lies the problem, because again, the message in which he was trying to convey, I applaud that all day long. I just have a difference of opinion, difference of agreement, the platform that he utilized. And I know many would say, well, why not that platform, being that it is over 100 viewers, 100 million people watching? Well, again, for the reasons I previously just stated, you're going to have some drawbacks, and it's not going to be universally understood. And I know many of us, because I've read and heard and listened to all the chit chat out there. Oh, it went over people's head. They didn't get it. They didn't understand. And they started breaking down the metaphors and the allegoricals and what have you. And in my viewpoint, I just simply said, who are you really sending a message to? Because we can get into that. We can certainly talk about that part of it. I mean, who are you really sending a message to? Because the very people whom you, or some say he was sending a message to, well, I just only have one question. Do you not think that they are the architects behind the so-called message that he was trying to convey? They are the architects. They are the ones who created or manufactured the system called slavery as we know it in these United States. They are the reason for the unrest. So who is he actually sending this message to? And I think that's a fair question to ask. Because again, America's secret society, they don't care anything about that message, because that message really played out exactly what they wanted. Now, I'm going to play two clips from what I believe is a left side and a right side, and then I'm going to make a little bit more commentary regarding what I was able to see and break down. I'm a student of cracking the code. Yeah, I enjoy cracking the code. So we're going to add a little bit more to this, since everybody seems to think there's a lot of us that didn't get it. That amazes me, but you did. Okay, let's take a look from the right side first. That's the conservative side, right? The right side. So here's an individual. Many of you all may have seen him on this podcast, Officer Tatum, but he's speaking about, from a rights perspective, about the Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. Let's take a look at what he has to say.
Just put this in perspective. Y'all heard the lyrics. Some of y'all know this song. Why does he have to blur out every few words that he say? Because he's cussing, he's saying the N-word, and he's saying derogatory, threatening stuff in this diss song. I'm just saying. But this is what we highlight as our people. There was a scene where all these dudes on the corner doing this with gold teeth in their mouth and dreads, and it's like you're glorifying what? The hood. But then when you go to the hood, this is where a lot of black young men go to die. This is where drugs go to be sold. This is the lowest of the low denominator in our community. Most black people don't live in the hood. Most black people are in the middle class, to be honest. But this is what you're celebrating and you're exacerbating. And then you wonder why a brother with dreads is looked upon like a thug, because this is what y'all showing us to be. It's a minstrel show, which Samuel is a part of it.
Fair enough. That's his perception. That's his views. I won't necessarily say I disagree, but I won't necessarily say that I agree either, because sometimes in order to understand the pain, you have to dissect the problem. And the problem is everything that he laid out that is true and real in certain parts of African-American communities. Now, yes, are there successful African-American people? Absolutely. Who's in the middle, upper class? Absolutely. Who live in other affluent areas, in other communities? Absolutely. But there's also those who are on the totem pole that's living an everyday, real to real life, how they see it. That's the picture that's been painted for them. And that's the reality. And one of the reasons why here on Blac-Vocracy, we say knowledge is key, because knowledge is key, because that's really what separates everybody is knowledge. It's not really about your hue, your color, your ethnicity. It's your degree, the level of information that you've been able to ascertain throughout your life. So although I can agree on certain levels with what he's stating, I can't all the way say I agree with everything that he said, because there's a fine line, there's an underline to all of this, because it to me, as I see it, has a lot to do with causation. And causation, again, is cause and effect. The system itself, this infrastructure, or this perpetual racist institution that continues to seem as though, you know, it continues to raise its ugly head, and only a very few people really understand what is going on in society, because they think that slavery ended in 1863 or 1865, depending on where you was at. And it happened because of the laws that was put in place and the mental shackles that was put in place. Yeah, the mental shackles. So when you start talking about vagrancy laws, black codes, Jim Crowism, there's another, or even sharecrop leasing, there's another element to this factor. When you say that slavery is no longer present, you don't have to feel it, you don't have to touch it, it don't have to be tangible in order for it to exist, because we know that it still exists. It just exists in different ways. It exists in different forms. It exists in different camouflages, if you will. So although I do agree with some of the things that the individual stated, I can't again agree with everything that he stated, because due to causation, cause and effect. So now let's take a look at the symbolism part of this. As a lot of people, I read a lot of posts, seen a lot of commentary, seen a lot of people who want to provide their insight, whether, you know, it was Samuel Jackson being the playing Django, or the game itself, that Kendrick Lamar brought the dancers out, even the Crip Walk by Serena Williams. So he's going to get into just a little bit of that. I just want to replay a little bit of the clip, and how he's breaking down some of the metaphors or allegoricals that a lot of people are discussing.
So the colors that the dancers are wearing become a story in and of itself. After Kendrick is done with Squabble Up, Samuel Jackson pops back in.
Loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up.
What's really funny about what Samuel Jackson said there is he's representing white America, and it's hilarious that a lot of the critique of the show is exactly what he just said right there. But a big theme of this performance is gaming, okay? You have this rigged game that America is setting up for Kendrick to play as a black man. You got the actual video game staged, and then through the narration of Samuel Jackson, he continues on with the video game theme. And in this moment, Samuel Jackson said, hey, like, calm all that down. You're doing the wrong thing here on this Super Bowl stage. Do something else. Play the game. And instead of taking Uncle Sam's advice, Kendrick goes into humble while standing in the middle of an American flag, symbolizing, hey, I'm not going to listen to what y'all want me to do. I'm going to do what I want to do regardless. Now, with these dancers representing the American flag, we got a lot going on here that's going to start popping up as the narrative here. Yes, you have the red, white, and blue dancers forming the flag here. However, Kendrick Lamar is from Compton, and Kendrick has been very vocal about bringing the Bloods and the Crips together in unity amongst the gangs in LA. So here you have blue and red representing that as well. Earlier this year, he hosted an event called the Pop Out, where the point was to bring LA together for one night.
Okay, now you heard him make a statement regarding Kendrick Lamar standing in the middle, symbolizing that he was bringing the Bloods and the Crips together. But he never spoke about the individuals who wore the white. Now, there's two ways you can look at that. There are two ways that you can look at that. One, does the white actually represent life? Because, you know, a lot of people like the word white when it's on the righteous side or righteous consciousness. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. But could it also represent the white status quo, the white establishment? I'm just only asking the question because he never explained it. That's if you're just looking at the performance itself and you're dissecting the allegoricals and the metaphors and the mysticism, as I would like to even throw that word in, the mysticism behind it, because a lot of it is just It is a lot of arcane, secret society type language or sophist language that they're using, that they're not really explaining it that way. And again, I stated earlier, if he's going to be, trying to send a message, exactly who is he sending the message to? I mean, what message could he possibly be sending to America's secret society? Because again, they are the architecture behind this unrest, the institution of slavery. They get us more than we get our own selves. We didn't come over here, as Malcolm once said, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. He was speaking about the Pilgrims who came over down in Massachusetts. Yeah, it wasn't like we just got on a boat and say, hey, like we do today. So you go out there and you get on the Royal Caribbean or the Carnival of the Sea. What boat did we get on where other people? Because I know if you study, they came before Columbus and Ivan Verserm and all of that. I understand that we was great, navigators of the sea long before Christopher Columbus. In fact, he had a Muslim from Spain, because that's who they set at the footstool for 800 years over in Cordova, Spain, giving him GPS around the globe. Magellan and all those boys, Captain Cook and all those boys. So we know we was great navigators of the sea. But in terms of being forcefully and forcefully brought over here, not willfully, unwilling, who in the world could we be talking to in regards to this particular message and the American elite, or the secret society of America's elite? Because that, to me, starts the question of the why. You understand? Because you got to understand, consider this, that Kendrick Lamar could not have done that performance by any stretch of the imagination if it wasn't authorized by the powers that be. And herein where I will begin to assert my metaphors and allegoricals and so forth, since there seems to be this narrative that a lot of people didn't get the performance itself. But let me go ahead and insert this this other directive, or another way of giving you another way of looking at it. Because again, I stated earlier that I'm a cold cracker, and I've been doing this for a very long time. Don't do it as much as I used to, because I think it's child's play. Kind of like all of the nursery rhymes they used to give us, right? Hickory dickory dock, the mouse went up the clock, Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. All these are metaphors, symbolisms that they're using to talk above people's heads. That's why when you go watch a movie like The Matrix, there's a lot of information in there that they try to secretly cover up, but they give it to you in parables, give you a different way of looking at it. So again, I'm gonna start right there in the middle. I'm gonna start right where Kendrick Lamar is as he's putting on this performance, because number one, you got to understand all of this stuff centers around Philadelphia, PA. And no one ever even brought this up. I haven't read anything. I haven't heard anything. This is just my deep dive studies of years of doing this for over 33 years. So I'm looking at all of these symbolisms as they give it. But you know what they're not saying? Here's what they're not saying. That Kendrick Lamar's performance is really based upon the United States Constitution in a commerce aspect of it. And herein where everything begins and where it ends, commercially speaking. I'm speaking commerce now. So when I'm saying commerce, I need for you all to think commercially. Think money, in other words. Let me just drive it straight home. Okay? Because trust me, there's a whole nother level to this. There are two key elements that a lot of people are missing that I have yet to hear them talk about. Two key elements. One is the simple fact that President Trump is the first residing president to attend a Super Bowl game in person. Okay, that's one element. The second element, there was a little old white man that was sitting in the owner's box by the name of Rupert Murdoch. Now, for those of y'all who don't know who Rupert Murdoch is, just Google his name. First of all, let me just say this. He's a businessman from Australia. Okay. and he owns just about all of everything in media, including Fox Corporation. The very game that was being played on Fox, yes, he owns that network. It's between him and the Redstone family. Sumner Redstone, Sherry Redstone, even though they're a part of what they call now Paramount Global, which used to be Viacom. They still own Viacom.com. But the Redstones, they own CBS, those companies. But Fox is owned by Mr. Murdoch, Rupert Murdoch. And in case you all missed it, let me just play a brief clip for you real quick.
Brilliant lines in that photo. Rupert Murdoch, Elizabeth Murdoch, Elon Musk. Rupert pays our checks too, so that's always good. But yeah, everyone taking in Super Bowl.
So there you have it. That's Mr. Rupert Murdoch sitting with his family. And did you see who was sitting next to him? Yeah, none other than Elon Musk. So what that tell you? At one time when Rupert Murdoch was at odds with Donald Trump, now they're having dinner together. You see how everything gets smoothed over under contract agreements? Everything is not always what it seems. That's why I always share with people, get yours. Get yours. Get your piece of the pie. Because it's a big game that's being played on a whole nother level that a lot of people are not tuning into. They're only looking at the emotional message of it all. You see, Kendrick Lamar performance really reminds me of Abraham Lincoln's performance, because he gave a great performance. Yeah. See, he used slavery as a rallying cry to protect the Union. And it wasn't like he really wanted to free the slaves. He was just only using them in a big old enterprise commercial game that's being played because he wanted to protect the Union. Wasn't about freeing no slave. That was just window dressing. That was just to get the people worked all up in a frenzy, just like this halftime performance by Kendrick Lamar. Now, again, I'm not taking anything away from his performance. I'm just saying that there's a whole nother different level to this that represents so much more when we think commercially. When we thinking commercially, again, you have President Donald J. Trump, first in the history in a long line of presidents attending the game itself, and then you had the owner of Fox sitting there in the owner's box, and they're representing all of this and allowing it to happen, play out right in front of the very eyes of the public. So again, Kendrick Lamar couldn't have been sending those individuals any kind of message because they are the architects. I'm not saying them two individuals personally, but it's a long extension. So let's peel this back even further. Let's see if we can't unravel this mystery that I'm talking about commercially that we should be following and having a better understanding of. Again, we're talking about the game itself now, because these are more clues that I would like to drop. These are more clues. I don't even think y'all even consider the fact that Samuel Jackson wearing Uncle Sam's suit representing the bicentennial, which dates back to the United States Constitution of 1776. Now you tie the United States Constitution into it, which was an agreement by 55 white men. And what did they agree to have this Constitution drawn up? In Philadelphia. Well, who won the Super Bowl game? Philadelphia. And what was the score of that game? 40-22. The 40 representing 40 acres and a mule. Yeah, 40 acres and a mule. That's one way of looking at it. That's one symbol. Now, I'm not into the conspiracy about the NFL because I played the game. And if it was any kind of conspiracy, nobody ever, came to me or wired me up. I was out there 60 minutes, blood, sweat, and tears, giving it all I had. But I'm only, sharing a little bit of this information with you guys because there are those who think that this was just over a lot of people's heads. And I'm here to tell you that it was not. because there's another playing field to this whole commercial game. So the Philadelphia Eagles dominated, not only just win the game, they dominated the Kansas City Chiefs. I've never seen an Andy Reid coached team since he was with Green Bay, the Kansas City Chiefs, and when he used to coach the Philadelphia Eagles. I've never seen his offensive front or his offense period get dominated the way the Philadelphia Eagles dominated their front. I mean, there was no blitz. Now, if Philadelphia blitz, which they're known to bring the blitz, especially under a defensive coordinator like Vic Fangio, he's known. If many of y'all who may have forgotten, he was the once head coach of the Denver Broncos, and if you recall the time in which the Broncos played the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium, he was blitzing the heck out of that. This man probably called 2 blitzes the entire game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And it had the Kansas City Chiefs as if they looked like a junior varsity team. I saw Andy Reid run 2 plays out of the same formation on a slip screen pass that he was trying to get to tight end Travis Kelce, which Sweat, the defensive end for the Philadelphia Eagles, went unblocked. So I'm just giving you a little bit of this performance that we're talking about tied into the halftime show. I'm giving you other clues to look for. The Philadelphia Eagles scored 40 points. 40 represent 40 acres on a mule. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs, if you Google this number, scored only 22 points. Do you all know on the symbolism and numerology, the number 22 is what they call a master's number? A master's number. Master's number, and it represents aspirations, or that our plan has been fulfilled, kind of like the New World Order. Yeah, our plan has been fulfilled. That's one of the meanings behind the number 22. So when they rolled out the red, white, and blue, who was the people that's speaking on high? Again, America's secret societies. If there was one message, there had to be another message, because if you're presenting one message, that message has to be approved. Don't y'all hear the candidates always say, I'm so-and-so, so-and-so, and I approve this message? So you think Kendrick Lamar was able to do a performance the way he was, did the performance without any approval? You're kidding yourself. And by the way, he didn't even get to the whole song, They Not Like Us. When they start talking about, he was giving slave history toward the end of the song, they cut that out. Did you all notice that? So again, we're talking about symbolisms, right? Y'all want to talk about symbolism. Philadelphia wins the game in dominant fashion. Symbolism. We were talking symbolism. I just gave y'all several clues right there. I could stop right now, because because America controls the commercial system and still have world dominance. World dominance. Why do y'all think that Donald Trump is sitting right now in discussions with the president of Jordan, King Abdullah, and they're talking about how to allow the people, the Palestinians, to disperse out in other countries so they can go over there and own a piece of the real estate in Gaza? That's world dominance, a piece of the real estate. Yeah. And did he not say that he wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America? He said that as well. And so again, we're talking about commercial world dominance. See, this game is being played on a much higher level than a lot of people are really looking at it. They're looking at it just as some concert, some performance. Oh, he's talking about the brothers in the street. He's talking about the Crips and the Bloods. Really? That's all y'all see? That's all you get out of that performance? Instead of looking at how the game is being played on another higher level? I mean, they're putting it right in our face. Right in our face. And some of us are not climbing high enough. Like they used to say about the song Climbing Up the Mountain. Some of us are not climbing up the mountain. Some of us are still at the base of the pyramid. We're not climbing high enough. If you only think that this was about some halftime show dealing with racism in America. They don't care anything about that, because the only thing that they understand truly, the only color that the United States understand under capitalism is green and white. Yeah, green and white. They are trained to follow the money. And as soon as we understand that, the better off we're going to be. See, some of us still have a Crayola mentality. We still like playing in the Crayola box. We have this thing about, you know, my color is lighter than yours, mine is darker than yours. At the end of the day, they care nothing about that. That keeps you out of the competition. It doesn't put you in the competition, because life is a race and God gave it to us. It's a race for what is good in this life. It's a competition, because did you not know that commerce creates competition? It does. That's why everybody gets up at a certain time. Whatever you signed on for, as far as your job situation or whatever you got to do on a day-to-day basis, you have to get up, go punch that clock, and start your race. So commerce creates competition. That's one of the reasons why I don't believe in retirement. You retire. Don't tell me to retire. You retire. Because when you say that you're going to retire, you know what you just did? You just took yourself out of the competition. That's exactly what they want you to do by design. That's why they're always pushing for early retirement. No, we believe in our scriptures that when you finish one task, you pick up another task. Yes, when you finish one task, pick up another task. That's why you should be striving for 9 streams of income. Could be more. I just use the symbolic number 9 because it's a repentance number. Yeah, because a child is born in the womb of his mother after 9 months. But 9 streams of income, at least start there. But don't take yourself out of the competition talking about I'm retired, I'm tired. No, you're going to retire when the soul is taken from the body, extracted from the body and taken back to his Lord, his creator. That's when you're going to retire, when they put you in that ground. So this performance, again, this halftime performance, it wasn't over everybody's head. It definitely wasn't over mine. And I know those who study like me and eat from the same plate that I eat from. This is child's play to us. Again, when I say us, I'm talking specifically about the students of Imam Water Muhammad. If you don't know that name, look it up. So again, we can appreciate, you know, the mindset, the concept, but we got to play the game at another level, because it's in the 4th quarter for many of us in life, and maybe some of us we're in the 3rd quarter. But if we're talking about creating generational wealth and doing all the things that we inspired to do, we got to start thinking better, way better, because this performance got everybody sort of in a uproar and sparking some controversy that really has nothing to do with nothing. Because at the end of the day, you're not getting a check that's coming to your mail. All you're doing is just mingling words, wasting words. And time is our greatest currency. So why am I going to sit down and just, you know, vilify Kendrick Lamar, whether if I liked it or not? I wouldn't do that, because the brother is very talented. I like Kendrick Lamar. Very talented. But again, I got to call it like I said. I had to come on here on Blac-Vocracy and do this particular episode because there was a lot to be said in wake of Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance, They Not Like Us. So again, I want to thank you all for joining me on another episode of Blac-Vocracy channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, share, notification button. And also, I do a sports channel called the Replay Sports Show. If you haven't already signed up for that one, please go and hit the subscribe, like, and share button on that particular channel as well. So again, this has been another edition of Blac-Vocracy. Thank you all for tuning in. I look forward to bringing you more content. Until then, peace and blessings, and we'll see you soon.